Hey y'all, welcome to the very first episode of No Nonsense Wellness. My name is Elissa, and I'm here to talk to you about all things GLP-1 health. All right, let's get into it. I wanted to introduce myself, talk to you a little bit about my story, starting with something deeply personal that since February, I have lost a little bit over 75 pounds, which is absolutely mind-blowing. Now, this isn't going to be one of those highlight reels only. I'm going to tell you about the ups and downs of this process. So settle in with a cup of coffee, tea, or in my case, sparkling water, whatever you're using to hydrate, and let's chat about it. Let's rewind to about 10 months ago. I started this journey at the end of February. And I was at a point in my life where I'm in my early 40s. I had never been able to successfully lose weight and keep it off in the past. My biggest complaint was actually joint pain. And I've had that since middle school, so I never thought it would go away. It was really taking a toll, and it was mostly lower back pain. And then I had a lot of pain in my wrists, and that's what I'd had since middle school. I don't know why it hurts. I've never had a diagnosis of an autoimmune condition, but part of me wonders if there's not something lurking in the background, ready to get me when I'm older. So I want to keep as much health as I have. My goal with the medication was maybe I'll lose a little weight. Maybe this will be good for my blood sugar. I never, ever in a million years dreamed that I would be able to regain so much health. And it started with getting rid of my joint pain, but I'll talk more about that in a second. So I was feeling pretty stuck. And when the new year rolled around, I said, okay, I'm going to try keto again because that's the only thing that had even remotely worked for me in the past. If I can lose weight on it, then I'm just going to keep going because I'd really rather do this naturally. I think that those drugs are probably poison and I don't want any part of that. But if I cannot lose weight, if I can regain some health, I'll take the drugs. I started keto in January. Tracked my food, tried to do it every day, really did it maybe 2 days a week, increased my exercise, and did not lose any weight, probably gained a couple of pounds. Around the middle of February, my husband actually started a GLP-1 drug. He started on ZepBound. What triggered him was seeing a coworker that he hadn't seen in quite a while who had been using compounded semaglutide and lost about 80 pounds. And this coworker, he really had not put much effort into it. He just took his shots and lost 80 pounds. So my husband talked to our doctor. We have the same doctor, and she recommended Wegovy. But at that time, there were a lot of shortages, and ZepBound had just come out with a savings coupon that let you save a bit of money over Wegovy. So it was cheaper to start on ZepBound. So my husband started, and within a week, I was like, this is working so well for you. I've never seen you like this. I am going to talk to the doctor. So talked to my doctor. We ran the blood work, and I think I started the next day. Then I got my blood work back about a week later, and I was very sad. My HbA1c had knocked me into technically pre-diabetic, just over the borderline. And I was pretty annoyed because one of the promises of doing keto properly is that your blood sugar is not going to spike. I'd only been doing it for about a month and a half, but I had been testing my blood sugar and my ketones the whole time. And I was keeping my blood sugar down. So it wasn't great that my A1C was high. My triglycerides were high, my HDL was low, and my LDL was low. I thought maybe the triglycerides were high because I just switched to a higher fat diet. But about the LDL and HDL, I had no idea. I feel like I'd become more sedentary, so that doesn't help. But I was just really bummed. I was 42 at the time, and I just was feeling my age. I felt like it was catching up to me. I was really motivated at that point. My doctor was pushing me to go on statins, and I was like, let me just see what I can do with my lifestyle because I've never had high cholesterol before, so I don't see why it would be this way. So also, before I ever started my first shot, my doctor recommended I start with what she calls a whole food plant-based diet. But as a former vegan, I can see that this is just rebranded veganism. But she said it's okay to incorporate some animal meat, maybe like one time a week, and maybe just fish. So pretty low animal product diet. I felt like whatever I can do for my cholesterol is what I am going to do. I can do anything if it means that I don't have to go on statins and I'm not diabetic. I really stuck to that vegan plan for a while. I got vegan protein shakes. I ate vegan salads and vegan soups. And then when I started the medication right after that, I found it so easy to eat vegan when I wanted to eat, which wasn't that frequently. I was craving like fresh, crunchy vegetables when I was hungry. So that was amazing. Okay, so I get the shot. I got it filled that very day. I think I took it the next night, made me anxious to give myself a shot. I went to bed. I woke up and I wasn't really hungry for breakfast. And I just had this weird feeling about my morning coffee. I was trying to make myself drink my coffee instead of savoring and loving my coffee in the morning. Now that it's worn off some, I do love coffee again, but I don't have it every morning. So I took the kids to school that morning. I came back home and again, I just didn't want to eat, but I also wasn't really thinking about food or thinking about that I didn't want to eat or thinking about that I should be eating healthy. It was just not in my brain all of a sudden. So then I was thinking about not thinking about it because it was like a whole new world that I had never experienced before. And people call it food noise. My doctor called it food chatter. I don't even know. And I don't even know if that's the right word for it. Maybe it is. But then part of me thinks we evolved to eat food, right? That is what we needed to do to survive as a species. And so isn't it natural that we should be looking at food and thinking about it? If I have the genes to survive, I should be wanting to get as much food as I can. The problem is I can just go to my pantry instead of going out into nature and risking my survival to collect some berries or something. My brain totally shifted within 12 hours and it was mind-blowing. I already mentioned I had the cholesterol issues, I had the A1C issue, and I had the joint pain. So I definitely wanted to change my lifestyle and I was very motivated. But you can't do everything in one day. And in fact, I do not recommend that. I tried to just start with putting my baby in the stroller and walking for 30 minutes with her. I would wear my Apple Watch and I would try to get my cardio into zone 2 cardio, which was pretty doable if I was walking at a pretty good rate. And honestly, like within 30 minutes, I felt great. I could have gone longer because all of a sudden, the joint pain that I would have in my feet and the Achilles tendon pain that I would always have was gone. It was crazy that it just pretty much disappeared immediately. Pretty much for the first month, the exercise that I incorporated was mostly just walking. The changes that I saw in my body were insane because I think that inflammation was just leaving my body so quickly that I did lose about 4 pounds a week for the first month. I think it was just water weight, probably also some fat because I did track my calories and I was eating low calorie, especially the first 2 days after I took my shot. Also, my body was just releasing water and inflammation like crazy. And from what I've seen, that does not happen to everyone. I don't even think it happens to most people. But for my body, it just reacted like it was like a magic pill. It was crazy. Then we get into month 2. I promise I'm going to go faster. During the second month, we went to Disney World where we were walking a ton. I was feeling great. I had lost at least 10 pounds, I think more. And then we got a call from a doctor that they found that our son had a brain tumor. It's not cancerous. Now we know this. We're not worried. It's just a lifelong condition. But at the time, I was terrified. It was the hardest thing I've ever gone through. And again, I felt like this is going to sound crazy, but I was so glad that I was not thinking about food. And this is how messed up I feel like I had been emotionally, where when I would go through something stressful, I would just add on stress and shame because I knew that then I would start eating junk food. So the way that my weight gain always worked was it would stay stable. Something stressful would happen, or the holidays, it would go up a few pounds. Stay stable, go up a few pounds. Stay stable, go up a few pounds. Like when my daughter was born, I gained about 5 pounds. Every Christmas, I might gain 2 or 3, and I would just never lose it. This was the first time that I didn't even think I was going to gain weight. You've got bigger fish to fry, of course, but I just knew this is not something extra that's going to be stressing me out. I am able to be present with my child and my family and try to make every day special without thinking about, I have to try to eat healthy. I don't want to gain too much weight. I don't know. Admitting this really makes me cringe because I feel like what kind of a mom would be thinking about that while their child is going through a major health condition? But this is just how I thought for my whole life. As women, we just carry around this massive burden of our body not fitting into cultural standards and a sense of morality about our weight that is just not good. That is just a really heavy burden to bear. And finally, I wasn't bearing that burden. So one other thing that I want to say about that, I feel like for me, because I am very up here with anxiety, and I feel like this medication just takes the edge off. It just brings me down a little bit. And it also, I feel, kept me from getting too low. So I'm just in this middle range all the time. I've seen other people say that some people like it, some people don't. I don't really feel joy from external things anymore. If I were to have a slice of pumpkin bread, which I've always loved, like for the holidays, doesn't really do it for me anymore. And it's the same way about alcohol. I didn't drink every day, but I would enjoy making a nice cocktail at home. And all of a sudden, that does not sound pleasant to me. I don't get joy from having a really well-crafted cocktail. And in fact, drinking now, it's not that I will never do it. It just doesn't appeal to me. And if I am going to do it, I'm very slow. I won't finish it. Then it's a waste. So I will still drink sometimes, but it's not a part of a nice evening at home like it would have been. I also noticed because it's Christmas time, I am having a harder time buying gifts for other people. Like, I used to love giving gifts. It was my love language. I always wanted to find the exact perfect thing. And now I just can't. It doesn't light my brain up the same way. And I don't want anything. I actively do not want anything. I know people have talked about it as a potential treatment for alcohol addiction, but I even wonder if it might affect a shopping addiction as well, or a gambling addiction. So as the journey went on, I added in some new things. So I started going to Pilates at the recommendation of my doctor. She actually recommended a really great Pilates studio for me. I'm very intimidated by the gym, not really the weights and the equipment. I'm intimidated by how crowded it is and then always having to fight for space and work in with other people, and I just don't enjoy that. So my doctor recommended going to Pilates, and I love it. I love it so much, but I still added in trying to lift heavy at the gym for a while. When we were going through like my son's initial diagnosis and treatment, I went to the gym every single day, even sometimes twice a day, to lift heavy weight. I just wanted to go in and do what I could physically do with my body, and it felt so good. But since then, actually my gym has gotten way more crowded. And I've witnessed people fighting over machines, and I'm just like not into it. So I think I'm switching my lifting to just being either dumbbell machines at home, or my building where I live has a workout area that's quite nice. So maybe I'll do some stuff in there. But I'm still sticking with Pilates, and I've taken off for the Christmas season. And I'm now doing a $20 a month Pilates subscription service that I really enjoy. It's not the same as having your teacher every week helping you, but it's nice, and it's a lot cheaper for this month. When I started, I was tracking my food using Chronometer or Chronometer. I don't know how to say that app. I really enjoyed it. I could see my nutrients, my macronutrients, my vitamins, everything I was getting. But then I switched to an app called MacroFactor, which is substantially the same, but it does coach you. So related to the fitness in the apps, the most important thing for me was having a husband who is doing the same thing I am. He has also lost about I can't remember, maybe 60 pounds. So between the two of us, we've lost like a person. I still have about 10 pounds to go, maybe, that I'll lose eventually. And he maybe has about 5 pounds to go, but neither one of us are really trying super hard to lose weight. We both want to put on muscle. We're focusing on just eating a healthy diet within reasonable calorie goals set by my Macro Factor app, and then moving our bodies to stimulate our muscles. In my house, a lot of times I will do the meal prep where I will still prep some of the vegan recipes that my doctor gave me and then just have them in the fridge or we can grab and go. I'm definitely not vegan, but the reason why I like having them is because I know that I can just grab basically a salad or a mixture of vegetables and beans, and I'm getting fiber, I'm getting vegetables, and I'm getting a little bit of protein. I also eat a lot of cottage cheese and pineapple, which is such an old person food, but I love it now. Gives me a lot of protein. And that's something else that I'll make so we can just grab and go. So it's really nice to have one partner, if you're married, be making the food so that both people can use it. But the thing that really helps me about having a partner who's on the same page with me is that we're working out together. There's not one person who's, oh, let's go out to eat. If we do go out to eat, we try to go somewhere where we can track the calories that we're eating. And we both have really high protein targets. So I need somebody who understands, okay, I'm just going to have to load up on protein shakes for the week, or I'm adding a lean protein to everything. And I don't really love protein. So it's nice to be on the same page with someone who is also trying to find ways to add protein into his diet. Finally, fast forward to where we are today. I am still using my Macro Factor app, and I use it to set goals. If I could lose about 5 pounds in the next few months while also lifting weights so that I'm not losing too much muscle, that would be amazing. I would be very happy with that. But I really would like to put more muscle on. And that's really going to be the next phase of my health goals. I am currently in the normal BMI range, but I'm just right on the top part of it. So I would like to be a little bit lighter so that as I bulk a bit to put more muscle on, I don't go out of that BMI range. Personally, I don't care about BMI, but my doctor does. So this is all just because I want my BMI to not be a problem for her. The other big journey that I'm on right now is trying to figure out a weightlifting program that works for me. I've tried a couple of different apps. So my plan for about the next couple weeks is to try an online streaming program that I already know I like, where she just uses dumbbells to lead you through a heavy-duty workout. It's called CGX. I really like the lady that does it. She's like very sweet, but you can also see she's working hard, so then you feel like you have somebody else suffering with you. It's great. If that doesn't work well enough for me, then I'm going to start trying my fitness center downstairs in my apartment, figure out when it's not too busy, and work out in there. So I hope that you will come along with me on the journey of trying to optimize my fitness. I'm definitely going to be posting videos about it because I love trying new things. And thank you for letting me share my story. Everyone has a different story, and I would love to start interviewing people and hear what their journey has been like. If anything resonated with you or you have any questions, please drop them in the box below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, share, do all the YouTube-y things. I plan to upload one video a day. Until next time, keep evolving and stay true to yourself. Thanks, y'all.